All right, good morning and welcome to our broadcast. Good morning to each and every one of you. I see we got Rhonda Spencer Thumb on the live this morning. Linda Mingo is here as well, and we got Desiree Felix, and we got Everett Small, and Eva, and Marlon Thomas, all the usual suspects. Good to have each and every one of you on the live. Y'all know how we say. Let's discuss with the in-house business of sharing the live and smashing that emoji button for us. We got over 200 of you around a humble breakfast table this morning as we drink this little black tea, this little coffee. You know, you got to put something hot on the stomach. Y'all know how we say it. Yeah, y'all know how we say it. You know, you got to put something hot in the stomach, you see. Good morning, folks. The night is far spent, and here we are. Sandra, Auntie Sandra, Marlon, June Chase, Don, and all the other beautiful folks who are joining us this morning. Erwin, Don, Cook. You're here or you're overseas? You're in seas or you're over? You're under seas or Yuli. Good to have you joining us this morning as well. Claire Alexis Chomley, Richmond. Good to have you there too, Claire. And we're so thankful to all of you who are joining us. You know, there's just say hot tea good for the gas. You know, hot tea for the gas. This government needs some good hot tea. That's why you hear them sometimes. It's just hot here, you know. It's a lot of gas. You know, we ain't start producing gas yet. If you listen to some of them, you know, no, not gas front. We got a little update. And if you even want to call it an update, Judith David joining us from Region 7 in the house this morning. Judith, when we touched on the last time, we didn't have a chance to touch base with you. You know, it was a rolling stop. Judith was a rolling stop. You know, you just do what you gotta do quick him. You know, when you link in with folks like Judith, you gotta be overnighting. You need time. Pretty Militia, good to have you on the live this morning, and all you other folks. What's for breakfast at your end? What is for breakfast? What's cooking? Some of you done more through breakfast. You looking for lunch now, eh? Or when Don, I just asked her, and I said, Don, you on the seas or you overseas? Don said, don't mind my business shirt. That's a big person. I like that. You gotta explain yourself to everybody. You know, you get to a certain age, you gotta explain yourself. God damn it. But good to have all of you on the live this morning. Today is another court day for the leader of the opposition. I had a little laugh as it was coming on. I needed it. Another court day. The leader of the opposition, Trump, early. He said, are they by the court? I saw this around 8:30. I don't know how early he put it up. But you all leader of the opposition, he said, are they by the court? I ain't locking me up today. You know, I remember when we went to court and Apnu held the office of leader of the opposition. You know, it was for things and matters concerning, touching and concerning. Let me use that legal phrase. The people. It was for matters touching and concerning the people of this country. You know, see the leader of the opposition get locked up for coming late to the court. He was subsequently released. And then the extradition and sanction, and where's the people in all that? You know? But it's what it is. We get what we pay for. We get what we pay for. This is what it is. Just gonna leave that there. Having problems to go further. It is what it is. You know? Times have surely changed. The folks say nothing new under the sun. Sure, nothing new under the sun. It is what it is. But we're happy to have you around the humble breakfast table this morning. You know, have you here. But that being said, today is Wednesday, February 18th, and we're advised it's Ash Wednesday. We got this photograph, I think, compliments of NCN. Early this morning, what was taking place at the Brigham Cathedral, the Immaculate Brigham Cathedral, beautiful building. So much history. I got some colleagues who are parishioners here. I was looking for them. I fast like y'all. I was looking for them in the photos. Let's see this one. This little scatterfoot one. Let's see. Good morning, folks. We hope that you guys are good and well. Wherever you're joining us from this 18th day of February. I couldn't even believe it when I saw the date earlier. I couldn't even believe it. You know? 18 days into February already. I hope y'all have been busy. I'm not busy doing nothing. You know? Busy going after those things you set yourself. So, as the year began, you know, all those dreams and hopes and aspirations you guys have been chasing. Happy Ash Wednesday. That I had to start on a light note. Happy Ash Wednesday. How are you folks doing at your end? You know, we pray that your health is 100%. We pray your health is 100%. And if you're not quite there, that will be the case shortly. Living the fort, us big people, we got to stick together, you know. We got to stick together. Met a beautiful couple in Charleston yesterday, and the husband was complaining. He said, you bother him every night. The wife worked on this thing, man. You know? In the bedroom every night. They got to wrestle the lady to get her away. So we bad like that. So we bad like that. Folks, thank you for putting up with us. Thank you for enduring us. You know, for your spouse. Thank you. I know a lot of spouses like that. You know, Sometimes it's nice when both of them are in tune politically, but sometimes one is really there, and then the other one got to be dragged along. Well, this is what it is. Sometimes you got to be dragged along, you got to be dragged along. Thank you guys so much. As I said, I couldn't believe it was the 18th already. It's like we were just there in January. You know, like we were just flying back from New York, according to my son, New York. You know, and then we were plumb racing to the end of January. Here we are, already past mid-month in February. Right. Whatever you got to do it quickly. Whatever you got to do it quickly. We love Jackson, Audrey, you know, Raquel, London, Lyndon. Whatever you got to do it quickly. That being said, as I was gauging some of the issues on our dashboard, you know, we started by talking about Ashuddin Mohammed. He said, "That by the court, you had them bad with me. Already this morning. I don't like how the jail inside. Look, listen to me. Being arrested, jailed, and detained as a politician is a rite of passage. You hear me? And those are battle scars you wear proudly. You wear proudly. I saw some of y'all friends by the Linden Hospital complex. You know, when I saw Barry Ramsaran strip and slap minister, former minister there, and I saw one of the advisors and health directors, you know, the creator all these posts to get a friend work, right? Miss MP, Member of Parliament Sahadio, both of them are members of Parliament. Sahadio, visiting the Linden Hospital complex. I am reminded, Marlin, that these are the folks who give us, what was his name? Chubby Cheeks. Short Boss. My God, that seems so long ago. You remember when the friend he was very interested in with the nurse doing with the private time and who going to visit the sweet man, and y'all remember him? It was just yesterday, but the name seems as though it has already eluded me, eluded us. Denny Champagne, I see your comment. Your cousin said that we met at MP Jordan Church in Bushlot. Some very nice people there. Very nice people. It was very refreshing to see MP Jordan in his elements, you know. And some of what we got in that church that morning, these two brothers need a dose of that. Dose of the Holy Ghost to straighten them up and let them fly right. You know, you remember the Linden fella? Let me see how many of y'all remember him. Yeah, Dorrit. Dorrit, you in tune, girl. Dorrit, you in tune. Mr. Small. He was real small. He was very interested in what the nurses were doing. Very in the private time, you know. They're all in a bedroom. And so when I saw Dr. Vishwa Mahadio, the Director General of the Ministry of Health, all of these posts is to get a friend work, you know. To get a friend work. When I saw that, and Dr. Barry Ramsaran, it triggered my trauma. Andrew Griffith know the whole thing top to bottom. Rudy Small. When I saw him on the ground, it triggered my trauma. Y'all remember the travails we went through? Y'all remember that? And they always send one of you, eh? The oppression. There's always one who willing to do the dirty work, to get a 30 pieces of silver. To get a 30 pieces of silver. And this is an apt time to reflect on all those who got the 30 pieces of silver as we head into this Lenten period. Folks, y'all are having any trouble with the audio this morning? When I was listening back to the program last night, I don't know what it is. Honest to God, I don't know what it is. It irked me as well. Some of the audio there, I don't know. We just swapped out the mic this morning. I don't know. I don't know. I was remarking to my wife, like it's a certain time, like it's every 3 years. I don't know if the Americans or whoever build all of these products to just start breaking down. One of the tripods we have just wouldn't work yesterday. Yesterday morning, the camera wouldn't connect. You know? If operating in the spiritual realm, I say, there's a devil loose, you see. Maybe it's the season. The camera wouldn't connect. The tripod head wouldn't work. A couple other things. Now the audio, the pressure weak. Carl just said you're good today. You know, sometimes you just fed up. Take the wheel, Father. Take the wheel. Patterson, how are you doing? Learning Center. With the Doris. Raquel said made in China. I applied for the tripod yesterday. The thing just wouldn't function according to specification. Sometimes it irks you. Going to have all of it. We got up somewhere. We went into the souvenir housing area over the weekend. You know, try to get some drone images is something. And the thing, it's everything just one period, it just decides it's good. You know, another period, everything working fantastic. Next time you catch in hell. So we saw the opposition leader. He said early today, happy Ash Wednesday. All those persons who celebrate, set themselves apart. This Lenten season, you know, they give up something. We're heading to Easter, where we reflect on the death, the burial, and the resurrection. You know, reflect on that. We got other things happening as well. I want to bring you all a little up to speed on. You know, a little up to speed on a couple of the other things that are happening out there. It's quite a few. You know, it's quite a few, and maybe we take it in this order. Been following this quote unquote electoral fraud. You know, been following that. This electoral fraud case, and again, I think I saw them back in court yesterday, and all you got is this and that and. But this mountain load of evidence, this mountain load of evidence that the folks claim and say that they got, right? It just never seemed to amount to very much, does it? This mountain load of evidence, it panning out to anything? I asking for myself. I ain't even asking for a friend this morning. Right? I asking for myself. Is it panning out to anything meaningful and useful? A whole set of taxpayers' money that maybe should be going to playing fields to keep them in order. You see? And I saw debate happening as I'm in playing fields with the same leader of the opposition. Him fixing a playing field and so on. That's the easy part. As the government has demonstrated, that is the easy part. No knock on him. But I want to point out something bigger. And it's what we've been talking about all this time. This is a government don't like systems. They bypass systems. And they seem not to understand why the systems don't work. Whether you're watching or not, whether you're living in a community or not, you should have a system of upkeep for these playing fields, these ball fields, whether the government gets votes in that area or not. Just outside where Irvin Ali lives, in Lenora, there's a playing field. It would never be in that state. This system has got to work, whether Ashruddin Mohammed is the opposition leader or is president. And Let me give you all a surprise. Ashuddin Muhammad is not going to be opposition leader for life. And if he ever becomes president, that too, he will not be president for life. This is why you need systems to work. This is why systems are important. You understand me? Your parents are not there for life, but in your home, you got a system that you carry with you throughout your life. When you get older, you can decide in your own home if you want to discard that system or not. You see, you can determine if you want to stay in bed. If you can stay in bed whole day, the bills not pay itself. The mortgage not gonna pay itself. But you could choose that if you want. Or you have a system where you work, and at a particular point, like no, rest after work, Marsha money. You rest and you enjoy the fruits of your labor. Right? But if you only working to eat, you get a big haul this month, you eat lavishly, and then you rack back for 3 months. Well, you're getting fruits of that. And we can transpose that naturally. We get the fruits of that too. Somebody come in, you clean up quick. But you don't invest in the system at the main city council or even the national system. That whether you in Shepnarayan Chandra Paul Drive or you in Regent Street at City Hall, there's a system that works. And man, friends, that's why I love the United States of America. And all these systems may work, but you get a couple that work, man. And you know it's the success of them systems. It's the efficiency. Day after day, them systems working. And you can tweak as times change and governments come and go. You can tweak a little bit, but the system, you hear me? The system works. The system works. And progress is for the system to evolve as the times change. But we here, and the president don't come on the ground and start issuing some edicts and instructing, and we take that as leadership. Where's the engineer? The engineer got to do work when the cameras are there or not. You see? Oh, you guys a corrupt system. The engineer come, he see the road and do the specification, and he takes something to fully pocket. Right? And those that delivering the contracts, they tell the man, carry up the variation. The extras me on. How the man can do in the contract specification? If you know the whole system, the systems don't work. That's why the man going, chop the grass at the park. Oh my God, this is leadership, boy. I give the system a free pass. The grass can grow back there. Who can chop it next month? Who can chop it 6 months from now? A year from now? You see, if you don't have a system, you're just putting a plaster on the problem. You're just putting a plaster on it. Systems gotta work. Systems gotta work. And you all know this in your own families. Some of you got a rigid system. You understand? Systems gotta work. Whether my wife home or not, I up. Put in a couple chores. I don't like cooking. I can buy food. I can buy food. I don't like cooking. Everything else, You got me. I can press, I can wash, I can sweep, I can wipe, I can scrub. You know? But the cooking, I just cook too good. When I cook, people don't like to leave. I find out the hard way. That's why all these years now my wife still here. First day I cook, still here. You gotta get a system. We got a system in this country. That's the problem. Walk down the avenues. And it was different. When the coalition was in government, I watched them, you know. It's my government. I voted them in. I said, we can know. You see the big cleanup? We can know 2-3 years from now. Right? When every day you're going about your business and you see people working. And that became the norm. You're going down East Street, people chopping grass, cleaning drain, cleaning the avenue. Right? You all know it's the truth we're talking. Systems, blackouts. People put a system in place, became less and less, blackouts, and so on. Now more power ship, more blackout. More gas to shore, more blackout, more billions. Why is that? Why it seems as we did so much more with less? Every year, public servants could have gotten an increase in their salary, and we didn't start spending oil money. We did creating the infrastructure, the architecture for the oil money to flow. And we didn't spend oil money. Right? You all know the indigenous communities, how they have voted historically, perhaps. But they let them concrete roads that they didn't crack till now. Roads that built yesterday failing. Right? Quality inbuilt in the system. Quality, not corruption. Quality. Systems are working. You understand me? See this case here now. Is the judicial system working? One case, 6 years in the system. No convictions. What could you be listening to, hearing, assessing for 6 years? And you can't come to a conclusion yet. Is that a fair system, Patterson? Naomi? Is that a fair system? Here Naomi says, why are we still voting for road, light, and water? It means we encompass the basics yet. We still trapped. Road, light, and water. Look what the rest of the world is doing with technology. You know? Look what the world is doing with technology. I saw somebody on social media said, oh, look how we're going up in the world. Even using a cordless mic at the energy conference. Jesus. Look, transformation. Even using a cordless mic. Right now, I got a cordless mic. Right now, 5 years and counting. We got a cordless mic. We're going up in the world. I saw another man said, look, the man ain't got no notes, no script. And this like a TED talk, and the man just talking. I see a controlling earphone hand. I see a remote controlling earphone hand. You hear me? And I saw a big monitor in front of him in one of those photographs. You know. And I said, but that's the Trinidad used to say. You know, prosperity for all. Even prosperity. Even prosperity. I told you all, during the consideration of the national budget, I've been to Maka housing area. We're trying to regularize some folks. You know. Been to EP Enterprise. Been to non-parel housing scheme. This is just recently, over the weekend gone by. Got to go back. Been into Little Souvenir housing area. You see this thing with even prosperity? A lot of people still waiting for it. And wait for it a long time. You know, we've been Letem, Region 9. We've been Mabaruma, Region 1. We've been Region 7. And you look around, listen to the stories of people, how people catching hell in this country, catching the tail in this country. And when you hear the talk of even prosperity, my God, I'm thankful I got some lecturers of my own. You know, even prosperity with sight. Where is that happening? I looked at Stabbock News and I saw, I think the Keiko Village Council, I think it was, sharing some photograph of the Deputy Tushaw fetching an elderly person to receive medical attention for miles, right? For miles. And you talk about what? What is India known for historically in terms of healthcare? I heard they're very good with heart issues. Is that correct? Cuba is known for treat cancer very well, and you got some places in Texas, in the US of A, you heard. But I think I heard India, the good with heart is. Yeah, that being said, I think I saw the vice president, Jagdi in India. Right? I think I saw the vice president in India. This is attending an AI, artificial intelligence conference. I've never put him in the same bracket with artificial intelligence. If you tell me oil and gas, you know, he take over the whole thing. Vikram can't get a word in edgewise. He take over the whole thing. I saw them say the vice president is in India. I happy for y'all. We got a far way to go, right? Even development, like I heard this somewhere before. Even prosperity. I heard this somewhere before. I ain't quite believing it. All you hear me? I ain't quite believing it. Even prosperity. And then we hear about them pulling out the national strategy for diversification and infrastructure. These things sound so lofty until you go on the ground and you try to connect the dots. You know, it sounds fantastic. But these are folks, a government and regime that pulls things out of a hat. It's trial and error. National strategy. You know, for those of you who are following along, during the recently concluded debates and scrutiny of the estimates and so on, you all might sit down. Can I ask you a set of weird question? Right? But some of the systems you got in this country are such a puzzle. You got to tease out some things from this installed regime to get a full picture of what's happening locally. And housing is one of those things. They would tell you about the outlining of a national strategy, for housing prosperity. And y'all say, wow, why? Nice time coming by we. Right? Nice time coming by us. And then you ask some questions and you wonder, what's happening in this country about it? For instance, case in point. I'll give you two cases in point. When Minister Gail Teixeira, Minister of Governance, she took the lead in responding to questions concerning the What's the name of the land place? Lands and Surveys. Lands and Surveys. Now, government has said they want to build 40,000 homes. 40,000 homes. Not allocations. They want to build homes over the next 5 years. This year alone, they said they want to build 8,000 homes. No doubt, some of that might be in existing housing schemes, and some of that will be new housing schemes. They've already signaled that the lands available to CHMPA, Central Housing and Planning Authority, Ministry of Housing, is exhausted. So they have to apply to Lands and Surveys for new lands, to open up new lands. So while Lands and Surveys were being quizzed, Minister Tashir was answering some questions, I saw the opportunity to ask, is there a view of a national land audit? Because we have to know in advance where this land is. If we don't know in advance where this land is, it's like a cake shop you're running. Every time you got build a housing scheme, you got to run to Lands and Surveys and ask them, where we got the land? Well, if we have a national land audit, we can know where the lands are available, and the process going forward becomes easier. There's no contemplation of that. So it's on a case-by-case basis. They come now, we help along, but otherwise, Lands and Surveys doing their own thing over on that side. You see? You come now and we're going to assist. But there's no forward thinking like that. The question might have sounded disjointed to you when I was asking, but I am making the connection based on what they have told us their vision is. And this is how you know they just mouth things. But the dots on the ground are not connecting. Case in point. Case in point. Second case in point. When the AG's office is being built, now they like to talk about all the titles giving out and this and that and so on. I said, AG, you're talking about all this title given out by Cotton Tree, 300, 400 titles given out at Cotton Tree. I said, how is titling through your ministry done? This is Ministry of Legal Affairs. Right? Is this coming from a request from Central Housing? He said, no. The people themselves have requested for these lands to receive title. But in this figure that Central Housing and Planning has given, the titles I have handed out is not counted there. But all is housing, all is titling. So the figure that Central Housing has given is not a true reflection of the titling that was done nationally. You understand how disconnected and in silos the system is working? The first lady is building a house, albeit it's a couple. Men on mission building house, albeit is not 1,000, but that still must be reflected in a central registry. How do we know somebody who men on mission build a house for get a land already in Central Housing and Planning? Huh? They said only if they believe the person has a land, then they would contact CHMPA to check. Okay, what kind of system? So you got titling happening through Lands and Surveys. You got titling happening through AG office. Titling happening through Central Housing and Planning. But there's no connection in the system. You understand what's happening? So, third case in point. I want you to understand why what is happening in the housing market is happening and the struggles exist. So, when the government says they want to build all these houses, right? $179 billion, of which I'm thinking under 2% of that is administrative cost, paying staff, and you might say is the current budget. That's not capital. 2% is current of $179 billion. instead of building a lot of houses, right? Now, when you look to see what they're spending on electricity, 21 billion. So the question has to be asked, how are you powering them homes? There are homes that are going to be built, ain't going to receive power for 5 years. Like the people at 5 miles in Bartico. And then you can look across the system too and see what they're doing, what investment is being made in water. So you could get a house on a land and you don't got light, you can't flush the toilet because you ain't got no water. Unless you pay now out of pocket 8,000 a black tank a week, something like that. But then come at these fancy headlines. Ali outlines strategy for diversification and infrastructure and this and that. And do you know, even at the regional level, some of these services are being provided to the Ministry of Local Government. Got their own land thing happening too. It's such a disjointed, chaotic system. And again, that is why you have people who can get a piece of land but they never see it. And sometimes when they see this jungle, there's no infrastructure, there's no road, there's no drains because the things just don't connect. You understand what I'm telling you? So when I see these big, lofty headlines, I never get carried away. Never get carried away by it. Because if you go on the ground, you understand what the issues are. Able to connect the dots. And in the National Assembly, you could ask the right question. And also you could push for change, which is what we're going to be doing. This system is not working. And in cases where the system, they're engaging a system, they're bypassing it all the same, which is part of the problem too. Right? So in lots of ways, Audrey, Paulette, we got to rethink housing. We got to rethink government. I know some of you in the diaspora right now, y'all won't come and bill. And we even talking about what the contractors doing to some people. I heard Big Smith in a live quite recently on his own story. You know, if you could get a name in this society, a reputation, and still contractors trying to defraud you, imagine the ordinary citizens there. And I know some of you got your own horror stories with housing, with contractors, with central housing and planning. You got your own horror stories of trying to build, you know. We got to rethink government. This is hard work, but this ain't got to be rocket science. I know if y'all catch me there. It's hard work, but it ain't got to be rocket science. Homie say, you better bring your own contractor, but bring them overseas, maybe. Heard too many cases. Better met a friend quite recently, built a house at somewhere in the East Coast. The cost, said, Duncan, we could build 3 houses. 3 houses, how things are so expensive. He showed us his neighbor's tank. And how this tank red. These people are living in the North Pacaramas. This is on the outskirts of the national capital city. And if you see the water, how it red with iron. And then when he showed me what they had to invest in to get clean waters, so that in their new house, the taps don't get clogged up and back up. Right? It's like they have to build 3 filtration systems in one. So you vote in billions of dollars for water, clean water, and still mess, trash, filth coming through your tap. And on top of that, you got to invest $8 million, in a filtration system. You got to filter the filter, and you got to filter that filter, and filter again. Right? And then you got to power all of that. Battery and this and that and tank and this. You got to power all of that on a daily basis. You think you understand what's happening in this place? You think you understand? If you want clean water for wash, you don't filter that 50 times over. Mess up the clothes, mess up the pipe system, mess up your internals. Yeah. Now, some people might got it at the disposal to invest $6-7 million. That's just in the filter to get the water proper. For the small man, that's the whole house. That's the whole 2x4. So wherever they fling through the pipe, you got to take it. But we sit in the National Assembly, didn't we? And try to rationalize the water sector, didn't we? We should turn on the tap and get clear water. Folks in Region 3 showed us. Well, not too long installed. What the wars continue? Might as well we had a well. Might as well we'd have a well. And I can wrap up on this note. Linden and local government, Region 10, broadly, by John, is the regional executive officer, the REO. And again, Minister Priya Manikchan, she claiming her hand is clean. Where? Kindness, don't be fooled. Don't be fooled for a second. This government does not want system to work. And this the chairman issue in Region 10, Linden, Region 10 broadly is indicative of this. They don't like systems to work. Okay? They don't like systems to work. So she's saying she cannot instruct the REO to call a meeting to elect the chairman of the region, even though you had elections since September 1. Since September 1, and the minister's maintaining there's nothing in the law that provides for her to instruct her to advise her, what have you. Really? 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 Win has his preferred candidate. APNU has his preferred candidate. Both sides have said they're ready for an election. And yet, the REO has refused to call an election. And the minister says, my hands clean here. You believe that? You believe that? You believe that? That the minister hand clean. But I hope it's a learning point, a teachable moment for Win. I said it before and I say it again. Better read Western Trial. Chetty Jagan talk about in office but not in power. Right? Because some of us believe because we got numbers, that means we're inside. Take this as a lesson. Take this as a lesson. Take this as a lesson. Right? They're still outside fighting. Won the region. You got your props to that. Right? You got the numbers there. but yet locked out of the office. You understand when I say we have to rethink government, how broadly this is. How broadly this is. We got to rethink government. If not for us, for those who are going to come after us, 50 years from now, when I'm 90 something, oh God, don't let us consign and condemn our kids and grandkids to this madness. But we got to make that investment now. And so when I hear these boys talk about Lil Dubai, and especially when they want to say, oh, we like Singapore, look, transformation happening. Shut your damn mouth. Shut your damn mouth. Are we willing to make the sacrifices Singapore was willing to make? We're not. I said the corrupt public officials who operate without consequence. And we could say we like Singapore. Long before we had oil and gas, we had enough resources to put us on that map. 23 plus years of PPP, decadence and decay, mismanagement. And we like Singapore. What has changed about the PPP style of leadership? What has changed? We had enough resources without what we have now that could have given us a Singapore in this region. And the people doing the same things they did in that iteration of the governance, I think we can get to Singapore. Singapore would have anybody like Dharmlal hanging on and tagging along still. Barry Ramsuran and the rest, Kwame McCoy and them. We like who? Lil who? Do who? Do the rest. I want to implore you, right? I want to implore you. Watch for these people come and they're selling. Don't buy what they're selling. Oh, I can't instruct Dwight John. He operated in a vacuum apartment. Right? These REOs don't answer to nobody. He didn't even answer to the president. So like he's the president of Linden. He's the president of Region 10, apparently. Region 10 has been ceded. He's the president of Region 10. It's a country by itself, apparently. You gotta watch them. Make it make sense. She said she's not involved. Give us a break. Give us a break. You know you're pulling the strings, Priya. You know that you're pulling the strings. Don't you ever make with nothing. You know you hand all over this. Let's leave it there this morning, good friends. Share the live for us. Smash that emoji button. Yeah, I realize I'm begging nobody to come. It is what it is. But you come and the content of this broadcast has resonated with you in some way. Smash that emoji button for us. Imagine we got over 900 of you. Over 1,000 of you, as a matter of fact. Here, the two of you hit that emoji button. We see how it's part of the problem. Have a great day, guys. We wish you all the best. Have a fantastic day. And stay safe. We see you guys on the next podcast. Stay safe. That's our time. And that's our program. I think that's how it's supposed to be. That's our time. And that's our program. Stay safe.